Hello and welcome to the Visibility Booster workshop. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I hope you also have pen and paper to hand because we've got a lot to get through today. So just a bit about the Visibility Booster workshop and what you will be getting out of this today and why you should be spending a bit of time with me. Well, this is all about helping you to reduce marketing and increase the clients, because I believe that a lot of us women, female entrepreneurs, we are doing so much marketing and not enough paid client work, right? So it's really, really important that we flip the coin. I always say it's the 80-20 rule. So instead of doing 80% marketing, we want to do 80% of client work. And how do we do this? Well, we evergreen our processes, something you will hear me talk a lot about, evergreening businesses, evergreening visibility, and I will speak to that a little bit more as well. So if you have any questions, I will get back to them later as well. So feel free to put them into the stream. If you're watching the replay, feel free to also leave questions. I'm very happy to answer them as we go along or at the end as well. Okay, don't forget, I've got a little prize today. So this is going to be a bit fun. This is part of an Easter egg hunt. And this is sort of the cherry on the cake, this workshop, because if you've been following me and if you've been following the 7 days emails towards this workshop, you should have somewhere in your emails 6 or actually 7 of those Easter eggs. Number 7 is actually the whole vault, and each of the Easter eggs actually have a little gift in it. So we will go through those also today, and I want to show you how to actually use that and bring it all together. You walk away with a complete visibility plan. So you've got 3 more codes that's going to come through today, and if you collect all 10 codes, then that means you will be able to win a prize. So just to show you very quickly, if I go to the page where you can collect codes, let me just share that with you as to when so you should have that in an email as well. If you don't have the collection sheet, then please let me know. I'm very happy to send it out again, but it will also come out with the replay. So I'm just going to share the screen quickly and show you what the visibility codes tracker sheet looks like. So basically, you can track your codes here. So there are 10 up for grabs. So 3 more to come today during the session. And there are really, really cool prizes. You're going to be in prize draws for several things. Also, you'll get a free ticket to my next women's networking event. And then there are prize draws for this virtual speaker launch pad, which will really help you with boosting your visibility. And then you'll actually see what else there is. So an audit call. So I've put a lot of amazing things in there for you to help you with your visibility. So all you need to do is track your codes and then just fill in the form. The entry deadline is the 30th of April, and then I'll announce the winners on the 1st of May. So that's a little bit about the competition and the codes. And so let me go back to my slides. Okay, let me just see if there's any comments. Oh, hi to you as well, to Norfolk. Really nice to see you today. So what we're going to cover today are basically 4 things. Let me just see what's happened to my, something happened to my slide deck. Let me just grab that again. Right, that's it. So 4 things we're going to cover today. So we are going on a evergreen visibility journey together. So I'm going to cover the 7 reasons why you aren't visible. And those were the reasons why I wasn't visible either. So they come from my own experience. And then we're going to create tailored visibility strategy for you, because I'm going to show you why some gurus teach certain strategies that may not work for you and how to find out what's best for you as well. So I'll give you an exercise around that. Then we're going to craft your visibility plan, have a full toolkit available. And again, they're all come out from the Easter eggs, and I'll show you how to use them. And you can always go back to the emails and grab those and do them as homework in addition. And then I'm going to share with you 3 underrated and fun visibility strategies that you can use right away and implement right after this workshop, because I'm going to also show you all the how-tos in detail. Okay, so it's going to be a really, really action-packed workshop. Just a bit about myself. Why would you want to listen to me? Well, I've been owning my own business for probably 15 years now, but I've always kind of been a coach and consultant, also in the corporate world. Actually, I come from business process and project management. So I was always looking at solutions for organizations around how they can work more smoothly in their businesses. So I think that's kind of my unique spin. And then when I came into entrepreneurship, I actually wasn't a business coach to start with. I was actually working as a leadership consultant, right? That's where I started off. But then I had to learn all the nitty gritty about how to be visible, what to do in terms of creating a website. And then I found out that I didn't actually need a website to get started. So there's loads of things that I've learned. So I actually wanted to share that with you. So I've had over 1,000 students. I've lost count. It's been so many years now. I've been working with predominantly female entrepreneurs. And I was really tired of constant launches and reinventing the wheel. Hence, I talk a lot about evergreen strategies and the notion of evergreen, creating something that works for you over and over again without having to reinvent the wheel. This is me here. I've also launched 3 books. So that's another visibility strategy that I could talk about in terms of how to launch your own book and then how to use it to create authority in the market. I went on to radio, online TV shows. I had my own online TV show. I went to corporates, did talks and things like that. So yeah, I've had my fair share of visibility strategies, and I would say some of them are more effective than others. Again, I can share with you what I've learned and what to do and what not to in this field. And the reason why I have created my business, and I'd love to hear what's your reason why you are in business? Because we all have a reason why we're starting our own business. Well, actually, to be honest, I have a young family and I love to travel. I love to be flexible, and I didn't want to ask for holidays anymore. And I was traveling pretty much Monday to Fridays as a senior manager and leading teams. It was quite a hectic life. I just needed that bit of a break. And I found myself like, I wanted to create more. I wanted to create a legacy. And I guess maybe that's also the reason why the books came about, because the books was all about, I want to create legacy. I want to impact others. I want to give other women also a chance to be visible on my platforms, because the books themselves were written with 75 other entrepreneurs. And I basically hosted those and gave them a stage. So that's my whole ethos, is about collaboration, which you'll see a bit later. We will talk about some collaboration projects and examples as well, and how you can tap into other people's audiences and work as a team, because sometimes, let's face it, entrepreneurship can be really lonely. So as I said, my jam is building evergreen business empires, and I want to be really upfront with you, because I do not like the hype and the empty promises that the gurus are making. So this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not a magic bullet. It is really for those who are willing to put in the effort, and it can be really, hopefully will be very valuable 90 minutes for you as well. So no false promises at all, and hopefully I can give you as much information and how-tos as possible. This has worked for many clients that I had, from consultants to obviously coaches, but also healers, therapists, parenting coaches. I've had love relationship dating coaches, fitness coaches, you name it. So it works for anyone who's got some sort of online business, online service-based business. I wouldn't talk to you if you had like a physical store. That would be, I mean, there's a possibility, obviously, to use some of the tools that I'm sharing, of course, but I'm not a specialist when it comes to e-commerce, to be honest. Okay, so a couple of case studies. I mean, as I said, career leadership coach here. We've got Helena. She was using the strategies that I've taught her, and she then moved into group coaching, and she now works with executives, corporate teams, and obviously upped her prices as well. So, and also visibility for her and really positioning herself as an authority really helped to get those higher paying clients as well. And then even we have language teachers like Jenny here. She was absolutely fed up with connecting online and going through painstakingly of connecting with people. But instead she changed her visibility strategy and also her pricing, and she created different packages. Again, she 20x'd her price as well. So visibility challenges. So let's start with those. Well, from my perspective, I think it can be a real roller coaster of inconsistent results, because when we are not consistently visible, here we're not going to get consistent results. So again, the notion of Evergreen is thinking about what are the things that we can create that will help you being visible on an ongoing basis without you actually having to show up there and then all the time. So how can you utilize assets, and how can you reutilize the assets that you're creating? Then number two is reinventing the wheel. And of course, when we keep on reinventing, and we feel like we're just getting exhausted and burnt out. I was just having a conversation with my husband just over lunch, and it's kind of like cooking. I don't know how you guys feel about, but it seems like every day I'm cooking, and I've got obviously family. They're very hungry, my teenagers. And I said, look, why don't we cook like a really big pot of curry, something that, or some sort of stew, right? That will last us for a couple of days. So it's the same thing with the visibility, because if we are cooking in batches and we have something that's running all the time in the background, that means, we're never going to grow hungry, or we can store something in the freezer and then put it out, get it out again. That's like your evergreen visibility strategies, where, you have something running in the background. And of course, you can always then create in the moment, like cook something in the moment, something fresh again. But if you have something cooking, or like a batch of something happening in the background, then this is going to be much easier for you. And the third and really most important thing is no aligned and no strategic direction for visibility. So again, I was saying, like, a lot of times you might be following some sort of gurus or strategies, and you may not feel like something that you can sustain. It may be that someone's creating these high production webinars or YouTube videos, and you just don't always see what's behind the scenes. They might have a whole team of people doing all of this, and we're trying to do this on our own. So we've got to be very mindful with regards to what's sustainable and what will be also keeping the fun in the business. Because if you are feeling like your visibility strategy becomes a burden, then obviously it will feel very tough, and you will probably become inconsistent and not do it, basically, right? So three things I recommend you just want to bear that in mind, and and let me know if one of these actually resonate. Let me know, 1, 2, or 3, or all 3. I'd be curious to know in the chat. So let's dive into evergreen visibility. I'm just going to check quickly if there is a question. In the meantime, feel free just to pop it in the chat, and I'll just keep on checking here and there. Okay, so let's go through the 7 common reasons why you aren't visible. These are things that I was struggling with, and I found a lot of my clients were struggling with these things as well. So, and what to do instead. So, and here is the first Easter egg. So if you are looking to collect the codes, they will be displayed again here on the screen. Hint, hint. So number 1, lack of clarity on available strategies. So perhaps we don't know what's available to us. We don't really understand what are truly what the strategies that we may be able to use and how to use them, right? So we may be unsure as to which are strategies. And sometimes I guess we may even try to do too many strategies and then give up too early as well. So there's a lot in this, right? So we need to become aware of what strategies are available. And today it's going to be I'm going to show you partly a few more strategies that are underrated or not very known. So hopefully I can open some of those some ideas for you today. Number 2 is the uncertainty in choosing the strategies that align. Again, so we might know all the strategies, but then we're not sure which ones to go for and which one may be the best for us that we enjoy, the ones that are effective as well, and aligning to our business goals and personality. And number 3 is perhaps we procrastinate over perfectionism, right? So it's wanting to be perfect, looking at those other coaches that are all perfect on camera and have these mega production, and we may not know, as I said, who they've got as their support team, how much time they're spending to create all these content pieces, right? Sometimes we just need to say, look, don't need to be perfect. Just go and and share, right? That's what I had to learn for myself as well. So we don't need to be all perfect. And then number 4 is overwhelm and lack of preparation. Well, perhaps we feel overwhelmed. I think we feel overwhelmed when we get up in the morning and we think, oh, what am I going to share today? Right? This is where you want to cook for the whole family for a few days. You want to have something prepared that's large and maybe batch create something, right? And then plan and prepare it. Ideally, how does that sound? What if you were already ahead of the game for 2 or 3 weeks, right? I've got a tool called Post Planner, right? And Post Planner helps me create content and pre-schedule that content, and it runs in the background all the time. The beauty about it is that probably I might pull it up if you got time afterwards, but what I'm saying is the beauty about Post Planner is the fact that it has different buckets. So for each campaign, I can have a bucket, and inside of that bucket live 7 or 10 posts. So I can actually switch on and off that campaign as and when I want to run that. So those posts are always saved in there. And now I have like 20 campaigns in there. So for every month, I have a campaign that over time I've created, I saved it, and now I can just reutilize the posts that are in there. So that could be another way of sort of planning your visibility strategy. If you don't want to use Post Planner, there are other tools I can highly recommend to organize your posts. I use Trello boards, which will give you a list, and then under the list you can actually create cards. So I use the cards. So for example, I could have a list on the Easter campaign, and inside the Easter campaign I could have posts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and at least I could save that with the image. And then I could give access to a virtual assistant if you choose to work with someone who can help you post that on the day, and that way there's also an organization, and you can reutilize these assets again, right? And that's just going to reduce the overwhelm, and it's going to help you prepare better by utilizing tools like that. Then frustration due to lack of measurement. So this is the thing. We may try a strategy and then we don't measure. We may run it for a couple of weeks and we don't know whether it's working or not. We may just look at the post and it's like, yeah, nobody commented, nobody liked, nothing, no clicks, right? So the question is, have you tested it long enough, and are you measuring it in a way that you can truly say, yeah, I've given this my all. I have optimized this strategy and now I'm going to build on it. Quite often when we swap and change new strategies, that means we just start from scratch again. And again, that's going to create overwhelm. So measuring results will really help you. And I've actually created a tracker sheet that will help you with exactly that. And I'll show you that tracker sheet, and you will also receive that as part of the workshop today. Okay. So, and then 6, yeah, I can't already mention it, quick surrender instead of continuous improvement. I told you my background is process, project management, continuous improvement. Now, if we in the organizations where I worked, if they had put in a new process and new people all the time, it would have been really costly. They would have to start that strategy or that process, that piece of work from scratch all over and over again. And we wouldn't actually know what's working, what's not working, right? So it's really about sticking with a strategy for 90 days, but then continuously looking at how is it performing? What can I do instead? What can I add? What can I take away? So and we have to see this as not a sprint, but it's a marathon, right? This is the long-term game. Of course, there are visibility strategies that will get you clients much quicker, right? But then there are some that are really long-term, right? And quite often we maybe underestimate those that are long-term. We don't really understand that it is a long-term strategy, and we may get frustrated with it. Last but not least, number 7, it's technology hang-ups. That was huge for me. When I started my online business, technology, back then, must have been about 11, 12 years ago. That was when I started to build my first website and funnel. And it was so like dinosaur technology, and it was so frustrating. I have to say, I had to actually go and get a code from another software to implement into my landing page. Now it's become much easier. It's the drag and drop facilities, but it still can be overwhelming in terms of technology. So what I would say is, don't let technology block you from being visible, right? Just use something simple. Go on and use your camera from your phone and create a video and then post it on social media. That could be just a very, very quick solution. Actually, phones are much better than the cameras on the laptop nowadays. So people actually are recommending to use phone cameras right now, right? So that could be really, really quick. Go and get it done kind of thing, yeah? Okay, so to sum this up, winging it without the strategy does feel scary and overwhelming. So we do need, obviously, a strategy. And remember, done is better than not trying and being in the game, right? I always wonder, well, is it better to kind of put yourself out there and fail than not putting yourself out there and fail as well? I'd probably choose the first one. Just put yourself out there. Yeah, trip over yourself a couple of times, but you're going to get better and better and better. Yeah? So, I'm just going to take a breather and see how everyone's doing. If there are questions, feel free to ask. We're going to go to the next section now, which is around your tailored visibility strategy. So I'm going to share a couple of workbooks as well that you have inside your email. So firstly, I talked about aligned strategy and using a visibility strategy or strategies that align with your style and your personality so that you can make it sustainable, right? So one of the things I thought maybe quite fun is I created like a quiz, right? So the quiz itself, and I won't go through that right now because literally I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to go and I think I'm just going to quickly open it, the visibility quiz. It's basically a document where you can just score yourself, answer a few questions around your preferences. So let me go and grab this one. So just to show you what it looks like. So this is your pick your visibility style quiz and find out what's most natural way for you to show up online, right? So there's 10 questions you can answer for yourself, and then you add up each of the letters, and it will give you visibility style and your preference here as well. And it's quite accurate. This is really, really cool. I came out to be the collaborator. Yeah, surprise, surprise. So there you have the visibility quiz. So I would recommend you go download it to do the quiz and get those insights for yourself. Cool. So the next one is your toolkit. Now we're going to have several pieces that will help you create a visibility plan. And again, I have a couple of sheets and sort of worksheets that I have put together to help you work this through. So let's start with the visibility planner. Okay, so I'm going to open that up. So as I said, the next thing now, you know, okay, what's my style? So took the quiz. What's my style? Okay, I love to do collaboration. Okay, so what collaboration activities could I do? And I'll talk a little bit about that later on. Some of the things I've done is summits, going on podcasts or hosting podcasts, obviously writing book, which is a bit of a longer term plan. But yeah, let's just say I'll create a podcast, right? Or some sort of content that then can be put into a podcast or create a summit around it. Whatever you choose, you would start with a planner, a visibility planner. And there's actually two things to this. So I'm going to skip ahead here. I'm going to fix your freebie as well, and I'll tell you the reason why. But I'm going to go quickly to the content prompts because they work hand in hand with your visibility plan, right? So you want to think about what's the content that we can talk about. And when it comes to content, I find so many entrepreneurs veering off from what they're actually teaching and where they want people to go to. Because realistically, what you want to do is you want to create the content based on your offer and what you teach, what you're teaching inside the paid community or a mastermind, or what you do with a one-to-one. So you can actually open some blind spots for people when it comes to creating content, giving them things to think about, right? So it's getting a bit dark here today. Let me get my lights up. So I want to talk to you about those two things, right? So we've got the visibility planner, and I'm going to also open up the content brainstorm sheet. And I've already populated with some examples, right? So the content brainstorm sheet is a prompts, ideas with prompt ideas, right? So let me show you. And again, all of these links are being shared with the replay, and perhaps you already had all of the links sent to you in the email leading up to the workshop. If not, just send me a reply and on an email, and I'll send it to you manually. So I'm gonna share again. So we've got here the content ideas. Let me just grab it here. So so here are firstly your ideas, so you can brainstorm, right? Here are some prompts that you can think about in terms of, how do I tell stories? How do I share my authority? How do I teach? How am I showing things about me behind the scenes, right? So you want to come from different angles and really communicate to your audience who you are, what you believe in, and of course, how can you help them and what you teach. So here are some magnetic content prompts. Again, you can just use them. And I've created a couple of examples, and I've also created a walkthrough video here, so you can watch that again after the workshop. And then one of the things I always talk about is, what are your pillars? Can you create a map that will lead people through your offer? Are there certain steps? So I have 6 content pillars, basically, that I always talk about. So I've got pillar number 1, which is evergreen offers. Pillar number 2 is evergreen visibility. Pillar number 3 is evergreen launching, right? And so on. So I have my content pillars that I can actually put into the center of my content plan. And then there are some fun ideas. Maybe you want to roll the dice and just generate some content through just playing this game as well. So you got options here. Now, with these ideas, we will go into the visibility planner. When you get this, please do make a copy. It's basically file, make a copy, and then you can edit this. So I've already in yellow created some examples for you, right? So what we want to brainstorm is obviously the ideas using the prompt, if you like, that I've just talked through. And then you want to think about titles. And then some people say hooks. What are hooks? It's scroll stopping titles. People want to know, like it creates curiosity. And of course, you can use something like ChatGPT to help you come up with curiosity driven titles, right? Or a lot of the things that people, you could go on YouTube and see what's working, how many, maybe you find a video that has really a lot of views. Maybe you come across a post that has a lot of engagement. What did they do there, right? So we want to think about that. How-to videos work really well, or the whatever strategy, the 3 virtual stages that nobody talks about. So there's curiosity. One strategy that would help you stay consistent, 7 best. Whatever listicles are really, really good as well. And you could say, look, from this, I'm going to create a video, a written post, newsletter, article, right? All of it, or just one item, and in which week do I want to create that, right? I then tend to create a document, a Google document, or you could also have a Trello board to then put your content and your banners in there as well. And then here, I would just plan in the days. So I could also just pull this apart a little bit more. I could have one line talking about, okay, I'm going to do a video first because I'm good on video. I know I can talk on video. Maybe I just need a few bullet points to get started. From video, I'm going to take the transcript and then create a post or a newsletter, an article. So you could do several things, and perhaps not all in one day, because again, you don't want to create overwhelm. You might want to think about, okay, this week the theme is X. And there's an example here. You go to the calendar, you could have topic 1, creating notes. That could be Monday, could be your planning day. On Tuesday, you could do the video. On Wednesday, you can create the post. On Thursday, you could create a newsletter. And that could be like an email newsletter, and you could actually link back to the video or the post or both. And then on Friday, you can create an article or a blog post that you can put out on LinkedIn or maybe on your website. So now you can see you're utilizing many different strategies, but you're using this one topic. So that means you're not getting overwhelmed with the production of it, and you can reutilize it. If you save it some place like a Trello board or Google Doc, even here, you would have everything saved, everything documented in this one document, right? You can just go back in here, or you can link a Trello board here. So you're already starting an evergreen content plan by just following this visibility planner. So I hope that makes sense. I'm going to go back to the next step because I've got so much to cover, so much more to cover. So we just talked about, let's just go back to the visibility planner. And now we've planned the visibility, we've got some content. And hopefully we would have brainstormed the content based on what we're teaching. And based on that, we need a call to action. We need people to go somewhere else, to connect with you, maybe opt in to an email list. We want them to do something, right? Of course, you don't have to have a call to action at every time you are putting something out there. Sometimes in between, it's just nurturing people, and I would just send out an email. Here is a free gift, and then a link to something. And then that means the reciprocity bucket starts to fill up. Because if you're always hunting for clients, people will feel that energy of, always selling and the energy of always wanting to take. So really think, what can I give first? How can I show up that feels good? And I'm not even the person who likes to pressure sale or anything like this. So I'm very happy just to share, and when I'm sharing, that's when I get the most people come and comment and say, oh, what else can we come and have you got a community, have you got a mastermind, how can I work with you, right? So it comes quite naturally. And one of the things a lot of people always talk about is obviously creating some sort of free giveaway, or some sort of free gift, right? It's the freebie. The freebie, the lead magnet, the whatever, client magnet, whatever you want to call it, is something. It could be a video, it could be a PDF, it could be a webinar, it could be a challenge, it could be an audio, it could have many shapes. It could be a Trello board even. I could give away my Trello board and explain how to organize posts, right? Because it fits really nicely with the Visibility Booster workshop. So quite often, I do a lot of freebie reviews, and a lot of the times clients are telling me that when people land on their page, they're not downloading. And quite often it appears that there is a disconnect with regards to the content that they've put out there and the way they're invisible. And then of course it's also the messaging on that page where people have their freebies, right? So there's a couple of things I can suggest here. Firstly, I've given you a complete fixing your freebie checklist, right? That's a download. That's part and parcel of the workshop resources. But I've also gone and dug deeper, because I have a whole training around freebies in more depth. So I've gone and grabbed those slides, and I want to share the ins and outs and the kind of more particular things about the to-do. So here is the freebie client magnet creation. And so the format from this training is always, it was about, so overview, giving an overview as to who this is for. So this is part of a 26 strategy training. So I've actually created 26 strategies, or collected. I haven't created them. I've collected them, and I've also documented my own journey within that. And so there's always a bit of an overview as to who is it best suited for, the ideal qualities of the person who's running that strategy, and the tech comfort. So that's how it's being arranged. And then also, what is the strategy? And then on the next page, we have a whole do's and don'ts, what to consider, all the steps and so on. I'll just browse over it because I've got so many more strategies I want to share with you. But the freebie is obviously an important one to capture emails. Now, I, for the longest time, didn't want to create my email list, because that's like, oh, this is overwhelmed now. I've got to start emailing people. And I had imposter syndrome as well about, showing up, and why would someone want to learn from me? And then I realized a couple of times, and it happened, that somehow accounts get shut down on social media, or I think once it happened, maybe twice happened, that Facebook completely it was all froze, or something happened, just everything crashed. So actually, I realized we're on rented platforms. We're on other people's platforms. And if we don't harness and bring those people into our own circle and into our control, and that you can do through a email list, for example. Otherwise, our business is really at risk. Even I created multiple Facebook groups, but they're not mine unless I have people's emails addresses. If my account gets shut down, I'm going to lose these groups. I'm going to lose all of these leads potentially, right? So once you grab them onto your email list, you can then email them and also communicate with them. And that's why you want to create some sort of freebie or client magnet. So was going to say, the strategy is to create some free content. Ideally, that's something could be part of your paid program. So I also took some bits out of my paid program and I created a worksheet from it, or a short video walkthrough training. Some of the things that I showed you are quite examples of that. Like, could be shorter videos and Google documents and things like that. The do's. We want to create something that is valuable. And I apologize if the font's a little bit small. Don't worry, you don't need a magnifying glass. I'll go through the main bits here. But I've literally just sort of screenshot from the training materials. But it's so important that we don't just, again, we don't want to sell, because when we create some really good stuff, then people will say, wow, if that's in her free content, what's she going to teach on the inside of a paid program, right? And we don't really want to hold back. I know a lot of people are asking, well, how much is too much in terms of me giving away and showing up and sharing? Well, to be honest with you, anyone can get webinars, YouTube videos, content like ebooks for free. You can buy books, of course, low paid books on Amazon, and you can read a book about creating a business. But does that really mean that it's going to work if you are just studying and then you're going through your, self-study program? Maybe people get stuck. They have a block, or mindset block, or a strategy block. It doesn't work. They have questions. They need someone in the background holding them accountable and tweaking some of the things, giving feedback, and whilst they're implementing. That's why they would need our support in whatever niche you're in. It is a universal truth. Yes, its information is available, but then it's about selling the transformation. And when we are giving some good information, they can, of course, they can go away and implement. I give you all of this today as well, all the content calendars, go and do it. And hopefully, you can do it yourself, absolutely. But then there's also a way to work with me, and we'll do it together, and we'll give you feedback, and we'll, give you accountability and more strategies and tweak and stuff like that, right? So think about this in terms of creating a valuable freebie. Do build email lists. I already said we want to capture at least email addresses, and don't just provide marketing materials. Okay, so don't skip the research. Make sure you create something that people really, truly want and will give them a quick win. Numerous amounts of times, I have seen freebies, 80, 90-page PDF documents, books. Give them something that's short. Also, it's going to take you a lot of time to create. And then are they going to consume it? Because people have short attention spans, especially when they don't know you yet. Are they really going to stick through 3, 4, 5 hours of training or read 100 pages of your ebook? Maybe not. Give them something shorter. And then, later on, once they know you a bit better, they must say, oh, wait, actually, I want to come to this masterclass or read the full book or purchase something else, right? So keep it very, very simple. Consider, I always say, is this content that you're creating, is it evergreen? Is it timeless? Or is there a specific deadline somewhere inside of it? Like sometimes on the call to action page, so we could have maybe a checklist, and on the bottom of the checklist, we could then say, grab this special offer valid until whatever date, right? So it's not evergreen anymore, right? So consider when you're putting call to actions in there, or maybe it's a strategy that just works right now. It's just something that's valid right now. I remember I made this mistake. Actually, when Clubhouse was a thing, I went on Clubhouse and I tested everything, and I created a freebie around this app, Clubhouse. And then all of a sudden, after like 2-3 months, nobody really was that interested in my freebie anymore. But I put a lot of time and energy and effort into this. So, and the steps: create your value magnet, develop an audio checklist or video, research potential collaborators. You could do that as well. I will talk a bit more about collaboration and tapping into other people's audience as well, because you could actually also create bundles. For example, you could create, get an audio from someone who is maybe has a complementary service or has the same sort of audience, but they do something slightly different. Like, for example, one of my friends, she does websites for female entrepreneurs. Another friend is doing PR for female entrepreneurs. So I could actually go and get some of their masterclasses or their freebies and put it all together in a bundle, and then we could cross promote it as well. So these are really good ideas and good approaches here. And the time it's required here, I would recommend this is an ongoing evergreen strategy, especially when you have a freebie which is just out there, right? Someone asked quite recently, do I need more than one freebie, or could I just put out the same freebie all the time if I see it works? And my answer to that is actually, yes, you could. But then if you have, say, a second freebie in time, I'm not saying like straight away, maybe it will help the people who have downloaded freebie 1 to connect with you even more by getting something else. Because say, for example, with my workshop here, I don't run the same workshop every single month. I change it up, have slightly different angles. And so the people who've seen my first workshop want to come to my second workshop and maybe to my third workshop, right? So I would say, yeah, maybe in time you want to create more than one freebie. And it doesn't need to be like a longish kind of creation process again. You know, it doesn't have to be all polished. If you look at the freebies that I've created for the Easter egg hunt, are literally just some Google documents. I'm probably going to polish them up a little bit, but I just wanted something out there and something that will help you straight away, and rather than sort of really designing it and taking lots and lots of time and not having it out there, right? So think about that as well. And the level of ease in terms of implementation, I would star it as like 2 stars. It's a moderate implementation. And again, nowadays we have ChatGPT, we have all these AI tools that can obviously help us do the heavy lifting. So remember, you can do some research with ChatGPT, help you with copy. Nowadays, you can also create images with ChatGPT. It's weird and wonderful sometimes when it gets the spelling wrong. It's still not 100% there, but like having an image with some signage, and I told it to write this, it wrote something different. It's all fun and games. But again, yeah, just utilize the tools that you have available. We went through the content prompts earlier, so I'm going to skip this. And then the last thing is the camera confidence. I wanted to pick that out. Obviously, if you're already confident writing something and you're like, oh, I'm going to get in camera now. Well, if you've already written something, you can easily create a video from this. Now, the way I do this, I have my laptop in front of me because I need my notes. I do need my notes, honestly. This is brilliant for me because I've got like a bit of a PowerPoint. I can read off it. I can sort of bounce off ideas of it. So I'm not the person who just turns on the video and goes live. That's not me. So if you are like me, then perhaps you might want to think about having some notes in front of you, maybe just some bullet points, because I realize also when it's too scripted, it's very robotic. And I literally just turn on my my phone camera. If I want to share screen like here, I can use StreamYard and do a presentation like this. But if you just want to talk to video, then just get your phone out. So again, I have a camera confidence cheat sheet that should have been in your email that will help you with this as well. Okay, so where are we? Yeah, so now you have all the codes. If you are collecting codes, if you just joined a bit later and you're thinking, what's this code thing about? Well, actually, I sent out the sheet where you can collect different codes. You can then win a prize as well. And yeah, here are the first 7 codes. There's 3 more to come. And then once you have the 10 codes, I mean, if you collect less than 10, that's fine. It's just you have more prizes once you have 10 codes. Okay, I want to just make it a bit fun. So I'm just going to stop my screen for a second, see if everyone's still with me. Let me know in the comments. Give me a 1 if this is helpful. Give me 2 if it's not helpful. I think it is useful because quite often we just don't know where to get started and how to put the puzzle pieces together. So if you look at the eggs, right, the booster Visi egg is all about working on your mindset. It's really about rethinking, why am I hiding? Is it like, what could I do instead, right? So this booster Visi egg is all about that mindset. Then the quiz egg talked about, well, find out your style. What's your aligned style to be visible? What will, make you feel comfortable, and what is sustainable for you? It's not take someone else's blueprint and then having to run with it, and it feels like a burden and it's hard to do, then you're not going to stick with it, right? So use the quiz that the quiz egg has provided. Then you plan, and perhaps you want to use also Spark, which is this egg here, the Spark egg, to spark some content ideas and then plan them in. Then confidence, we talked about camera confidence very briefly around how to think about that. And again, 80-20, it's not, you don't need to be all polished. 80% there is good enough. And then we talked about the freebie, which is the call to action, which is quite important to lead people to somewhere, and how to optimize the creation of the freebie and also the messaging of it as well, and how to tie that all in. And then the Vault egg actually just gives you all the 7 codes in one place, which would have been out on the email. So the last section today is, I want to give you 3 underrated and fun visibility strategies you can use straight away. And again, I'm going to go through all the pitfalls, the to-dos, what to-dos and what not to-dos, and the implementation steps as well. I picked these on purpose because there are some odd ones that are not like, go on a podcast or do a blog post. Probably most people know about this stuff. I wanted to uncover some other things which not a lot of people are actually doing, and it can have a huge impact. And I'm using this myself, and from my own experience, I find these more fun, quite quirky, and it's scroll stopping. And like, for example, this visibility booster workshop connected with the Easter egg hunt is kind of like a challenge, several days challenge as well. But I've automated some of it because there were 7 emails attached to this. And if you came in a bit later, don't worry, I've actually bundled it up into one email so you'd have everything together. So I had to think about, okay, how do I evergreen this? How do I run it live first time round, test it, create the different resources needed, and then how do I evergreen this? And of course, I will run it again next Easter. I won't be running it in the summer and calling it Easter egg hunt, but at least now I might have a treasure hunt next time. So these are all really creative ideas, how you can be different in the market. And again, these are all the things that I love to talk about and share those ideas. And it's almost like a forcing function as well to create new freebies is when I am creating these workshops. And again, I'm evergreening this. So next year I might be running the same thing. I have already an Easter. So it's the Easter campaign. I've already got a Black Friday campaign, which I created last year. I've done an advent calendar with elves popping out of social media posts that can reuse all of these, right? So I don't have to recreate those things. So what are the 3 underrated visibility strategies? What are they? Let's see. Well, the first one is called the quizzical crazy. Oh, by the way, we've got another Easter egg here, which means you can actually get another code there. So this is quizzical. Now, this is about creating a quiz, and there are amazing tools out there, even for free. It used to be paid tools, and I'm like, it's such a shame we've got to pay this monthly fee. Now, one of the quiz tools that I'm using is called Try Interact. The free version of it has some limitations, obviously. And then there's the other one is called the Score app. Maybe it's score.app or something like this. Really, really cool. To do a quiz, they also allow you to, I mean, the way I did this, obviously I want to create, grow my email list. So I create a quiz like, how ready are you for Evergreen, for example, right? So the questions you could ask and get people to go through self-reflection, and then they'll give you the type. I could now create a quiz around what's your visibility type. right? I could, whatever I've had there on the document I shared with you earlier, I could now go into one of these apps and then just feed all the information into the app and say, okay, create this quiz. And at the end of the quiz, it will then give you, according to your score, will give you then the rating and your results, right? I think Score App has a free and a paid version. The free version lets you probably have a limited amount of people opting in, because I do see that it is just running in the background. I just checked it out the other day. And actually, I could be sharing those things. Let me just see if I can hop over to grab it very quickly, because people are just opting in the background. I completely forgot about that because it was part of a freebie that I created. I said, oh, go and do this quiz. So if I go in, yeah, it's scoreapp.com. I'll share my screen in a sec. I'm just going to log in and just show you what it looks like. And they even have an AI version. Like, you could just give it a topic and the AI will create the questions and everything else around it, which is quite cute as well. So of course I forgot my password. Yeah, probably not letting me in now. What I might do is, after this workshop, I am going to write down the post planner as an additional resource. I want to show you what that looks like in terms of how I'm using buckets, Trello board, Score App, maybe try Interact. So I'm just going to show you the website then. I always have issues with my passwords. I'm very bad with passwords. Although I have this password vault and everything else, it's just sometimes a headache. Share my screen. So we have the Score app, and you can just get started for free, right? So there's a Score app, and then let me just grab Try Interact. It's another version. Where is it gone? Tryinteract.com. That's what that is. So Try Interact. Right. That's Try Interact here. I think there's a free version that you can test. Maybe not anymore. Oh, okay. Interesting. Oh, they used to have a free version. Okay, so maybe Score App if you want to test a quiz. Definitely a great way to get started and collect emails. So, okay, what have I done now? Let me just, don't need the comments. That's it. There we go. So it's really about injecting some fun into your business. It's for individuals who enjoy creating quizzes and interact with their audiences. It's also going to give audiences a great insight about themselves. And yeah, you can just use some of the quiz platforms, Try Interact, to connect up. And I guess Score Up would be another one here. So the do's: create engaging quizzes, craft those quizzes to grab attention. You might also want to create maybe a banner with a question, and then you could then post on social media and say, go and do the quiz now. Don't be boring. Avoid creating quizzes that lack creativity and fail to stand out. So you really want to give them a great insight and meaningful questions, and just really think through also the answers, and not just, oh, you are the collaborator, for example, and now book a call with me. It's like, this is the collaborator in terms of, the result. These are the things you really enjoy. These are the things you should be doing. Here are some tips and hints and tips and stuff like this as well. So give them also value, right? Consider quiz topics. Choose topics that resonate with your audience and encourage participation. And it has to be also, again, a hook that is intriguing. And the steps here as well, it's about researching the quiz topic, identify what topic aligns with your audience's interest, research obviously the platforms where you could host a quiz. Again, it could be something really, really simple, like a Google document. And they could opt in through a landing page. You could create your own landing page, take this quiz or download this quiz, and then you can just start with a Google document if tech is too much. Then create and share the quiz. Develop an engaging quiz, I already said. Promote engagement, so encourage participants to share the results. So you could do that as well. Have a post where people come and report back. I'm sure you've seen these very viral quizzes online before, where it was some fun thing. What type are you? Or share. It comes up with an image or something like this, and then people just share, and there's like thousands of comments under that particular post. So these are really viral quizzes. So if you come up with something like this, that's really, really good. It does take time, a little bit time to create. I would plan for 2 hours to actually come up with the questions, with the results, and how the scoring works. Of course, the reason why I would use something like Try Interact or Score App is to help with the scoring algorithm, so you don't have to think through how is it going to work. Because you could also ask ChatGPT, how do I best score the quizzes? Because you have to think a little bit through those and how people add up the numbers or get a certain type and what the results will be. So it is fairly easy to create, especially with the app, I would say. So number 2, and here's the next Easter egg that you can collect. It's a contest. So the contest champion. So there's another visibility strategy, and we're right inside a contest right now. What have I done? I've created a sheet with prizes. You can go and get codes and be involved and get some more freebies and things like this, right? So we're creating a contest, creating prize draws as part of this. So this is really great for individuals who enjoy hosting contests and engaging the audience through those giveaways. So, and what you need is obviously creativity, interest in fostering competition and engagement. Tech-wise, you may just be okay with a Google document, a video, audio, Canva to create images, and an email software if you wanted to send, have people opt in and then send out emails as well. So it can be really, really simple as well. So the what here is if you created a lead magnet or have something you can give away easily, and doesn't necessarily mean more work for you. It's a great time to run a contest, right? So based on certain entry criteria or condition, you award prizes. You can be very, very creative around this. So again, I'm going to show my contest and what my thinking was around it, around the Easter eggs. So I have a tracker sheet. So I thought about, okay, how can I get people involved? Firstly, I'm going to send 7 emails. Each email will have a different Easter egg, and each Easter egg will be a character and has a certain code on their belly. Then, okay, how are people going to collect the codes, and what are they going to get for creating codes, and why would they want to collect the codes? Well, firstly, it's going to make them interact with the email, wanting to open the emails. Then perhaps they even like some of the prizes here because there's so many different prizes that are available. And I said, okay, anyone that collects below 5 codes, so 1 to 5 codes, can also be part of this, right? If they collect more codes, then we're going to add some to the prizes, like a prize draw for the membership, like virtual launchpad, which is one of my programs. A visibility audit call. I'm going to give away that as well for anyone who's got 10 codes, right? So these are real great things. Of course, we've got to be mindful around how much do we give away that will take a lot of time and energy. So really think about, right? Could be Amazon vouchers even. And so people can put their name here, track their codes, and then submit the form and send in the codes. And then there's a deadline, and then the prices will be drawn and also announced on a particular date. So that's really how very simplified contest can work. And again, I can just change that up to be a different contest. In summer, I could have a more summer themed contest. In winter or at Christmas, I could do something with the elves again. On Black Friday, you might want to have a contest and give away or give discount codes for certain programs. So you can be as creative as you like with this. So let's go back to this strategy. I think I pretty much covered. The do's is obviously plan, create the value again, set clear guidelines, as I kind of just showed you. Don't attract low quality leads. So again, just be very cautious inviting others. Like, for example, once I ran a contest in my Facebook group and I said, if you invite more than, 50 people, then you'll get this. And so people just went and just added anyone. And so the quality really was diluted in my Facebook group. So that was a big learning. So really think about what do you want people to do so that the quality stays as well. And, there isn't sort of shortcuts and things like that. So in terms of people just adding other people randomly, you don't want that. What's next? So consider, plan the giveaway. Absolutely. So you want to have like a time frame where you are creating the giveaway or putting it out there and timelines around that as well. It's a one-off event. And yeah, it's quite easy to implement, especially when you're using something like a Google document. So let me just check something here. Right, it's all set up. Good. Number 3, another egg, the collaborator egg. I love collaborative projects and have so many collaborative projects, from books to summits to bundles to being an affiliate. I'm being affiliate, other people are being affiliate to me, partnerships as well. So this is really about tapping into other people's audiences, right? For those who are truly eager to collaborate on joint projects, events, initiatives, and really expand your visibility, because you can tap into each other's audiences. However, there needs to be some guidelines around this, right? There needs to be collaboration skills. There needs to be the willingness to share, support, open conversations, and timelines, rules, whatever, around those events, around the way you're interacting. Maybe you need to create also materials if you are wanting to onboard affiliates, if you want other people to promote on your behalf. So there's a couple of things you might want to think about as to like, how do you support them? How can they support you as well? We want collaboration tools in terms of tech, project management platforms like Trello, Google Documents, Google Sheets are really good, because these are tools that people can just share, and you can co-work and co-create in one document. You don't have to email each other a certain document. So you can just open the document on Google, give them access, and then you can co-create. Brainstorming tools I know is a Miro board, or Miro, M-I-R-O, Miro board, which lets you create more sort of post-it notes, kind of brainstorming, kind of visual documents. Basically, you can link things up and you can brainstorm together, like mind mapping and that kind of stuff. So you can think about those kinds of platforms as well. So as I said, collaborations and joint ventures need to be carefully considered, because you want to work with someone who has complementary skill set, ideally, depending what you're doing, or they have the same audience, but they're not doing exactly the same as you do, right? So just make sure that this aligns and you're sort of not in competition as such. Also, maybe you can collaborate on something small first. Like, for example, I collaborate with doing a first event, a small one-off event, rather than a whole mastermind together, right? So you could just start off with something small. Then think about splitting tasks, responsibilities. What are your shared values? Are you aligning with the way you want to show up, how you want to sell, what you believe about what you're selling or the event? It's like, what are your values? And you will know whether you will clash with that person or whether you vibe with that person. So the personality, the energy needs to click as well. And what will you do when things turn sour? Because when you don't want to work together anymore. So these are all considerations. It's all fun and games and fantastic working with someone else and collaborating. But then there's also things you might want to just remember, right? And set out expectations from the very start. Whilst we don't want to see the negatives, it's really important to think through that through the end as well. So lay it out from the very beginning. So these are collaborative projects. So from my perspective, I'm running a lot of summits. So I have a lot of guest speakers. What I do, again, I'm going to probably just share my screen. I have some examples ready as to how do I host them. So it's also think about what collaborative promotions will you be doing. So again, I'm helping them to also create assets like posts, like emails. I usually create banners as well. So these are all good examples around really utilizing what we're doing. Even podcasts, in essence, are collaborative projects. If you are hosting a podcast and you have guest speakers, or you are a guest speaker on a podcast, then obviously, you want to fully utilize, and vice versa. If someone comes onto your podcast, you want to make sure that they are sharing the podcast out with a call to action, and instead of just coming on a podcast and then it just is forgotten, which quite often, unfortunately, does happen. So really think through, because you want to make sure it's evergreen, and you want to make sure that all the efforts that you're putting in there is not lost. And also you could then use, obviously, your transcript. If you did do a podcast or a video, or you've been interviewed, you can then create a written post, a newsletter, and so on as well. So let me give you, where are we? I'm just going to share my entire screen quickly. So I have some examples around should be here. Yeah. So this is one of the speakers that I had inside my membership, and we put up the replay. So she would share that out as well. And before the event, instead of saying hurry, replay expires in, it actually says hurry, registration closes in. So before the event, I would use the same opt-in page and then have people opting in to the live talk. So would they just add their email and their name, and alternatively also the phone number. And then we will put up the replay. And once you opt in, on the thank you page is the replay and the call to action as well. So that's an example. There's another one here. I just want to show you the experience that I ran quite recently, which is actually a summit. So that had multiple speakers. So that had to be project coordinated a little bit more, I would say, to get everybody up to speed. They were sharing this particular page. This is why I put here who invited you, so that we can actually track. And if people then purchased a program at the back of the experience, which were talks, and then the call to action was to come into the membership, then they would actually have an affiliate commission from that as well. So we can actually track who is inviting who as well. And then all the speakers listed here. I've created the different banners. I've also partly helped them to come up with enticing hooks and titles that would fit the audiences. And then we would discuss how and when we would post and promote this, sending emails out, creating newsletters, on which platforms, and we would have more collaborative conversations around that as well. So this is a bit of a bigger collaboration project, but it's really, really fun, and getting lots of different people involved. Obviously, you can tap into a huge network here as well. So that was that. So there's your collaboration pieces. Yeah, so some good examples here. I was just going to browse over the do's and don'ts. I think I already kind of said select the collaboration partners with complementary strength and networks. And don't neglect the communication. Make sure you maintain the communication, you set up what's expected already in the beginning, and align yourself. So consider really aligning yourselves. And then, of course, the steps, you might want to look for someone who is a compatible partner. Sometimes we just bump into people, or we see something, and when we get offered projects, you never know what's around the corner. It does take a lot of time, and I think I would actually put in the level on 3. I should update this slide because it can be really, really challenging, especially the more people you have on a project. Like my collaboration books, I had 75 people collaborating over the span of 3 years. So it was 25 stories on each, and it took me a good couple of months to collect the stories, have them proofread, do all the typesetting and the and of course, I had a team helping me with the books as well. But then we did obviously collaboration marketing for the books, which was obviously very powerful because all of a sudden now 25 people are putting the book out there together. So there's another way to actually look at those collaboration projects. So yeah, it is beautiful. I just love collaboration. So, well, hopefully you got quite some good ideas in terms of different visibility strategies. I would really urge you to go through the materials that come with this workshop and do your homework. And what I would wish for you is to go and implement so that you don't feel overwhelmed, so that you have a very clear strategy that will lead into your programs, into your offers, into your one-to-ones, memberships, whatever it is. But then I also know sometimes we fall off the bandwagon. We will maybe reading books, maybe we're going through workshops, trying to learn, but then we get stuck. And the question is, well, how do we get support? How do we get someone to help us when we get stuck? Well, how do we get someone to help us accountable with the implementation? I think that's really where the core lies. And this is why I decided I'm going to do a boot camp. And if you guys are interested, you can come and join the boot camp. It's called the Evergreen Visibility Booster Boot Camp, right? So this could be your next step. If you say, actually, I'm not quite sure, I want someone to help me choose the visibility strategies, go through this in more detail, give me more tools, give me accountability, look over my shoulder, give me feedback, all of that, then I would love to invite you to come and join the boot camp. What you get is collaboration and networking opportunities, the virtual speaker launchpad, which is really, really cool. So it's actually getting you onto virtual and actually also real stages if you wish to use it, right? It's not just virtual speaking, but you can also get yourself onto real stages because it's a similar, same process really. The same tools that you can use. And then I've got the Organic Visibility Accelerator for you. Let me explain all the 3 components. Well, firstly, the Visibility Speaker Launchpad, as I mentioned, as you can see here, there's a screenshot from within the classroom. I've prepared 9 modules. These will be taught over 6 weeks live with me. So you have access to me, and we go through this step by step through co-working and implementation calls. What you'll have in here is a speaker media kit. So I'll give you templates on Canva so you can put something really nice together so you can actually put together your topics that you could talk about and you can apply to podcasters or people who do online TV shows or real stages or summits, you name it, you can go and apply with this toolkit. And not only that, I will give you the visuals for that, will help you create your bio, your emails to reach out to people, direct messages, help you research those opportunities, any posts you might want to put out as well. I have a few Facebook groups as well which I can share with you that always share amazing opportunities to become visible and be part of podcasts or summits. Then another item here is the speaker funnel blueprint. So talked about the freebie and how can you create an email list and connecting it up with the freebie. So we'll go through that together as well and really looking holistically at where do people start. Because once you're on a podcast or once you are visible, what's going to happen next? Is your offer dialed in? So these are all questions you might want to ask yourself. How to pitch yourself for more speaking opportunities. And I've got checklist here, the speaker checklist, repurposing your talk, what to do there and how to do that quickly and easily, and how to find speaking gigs. So that's all basically would take together 6 weeks, and I will go through this in detail. We'll actually implement together so that you will walk away with all these assets. Well, not only that, the Visibility Accelerator. I've taken snippets out today to show you what are the visibility strategies that you could run. There are 20, what I've talked about 3, maybe 4 with the lead magnet. So there's 22 other strategies that I haven't talked about that maybe you want to know about and learn and see which could be another option for you to actually go and implement. So this is a complementary course that's already there as a self-study. You will explore visibility strategies with planners, scripts, templates. You can explore how they work, all the do's, the don'ts, and the implementation steps as well. And then thirdly, a fantastic bonus, which is probably the best, in my opinion. It's about collaboration and networking. So one of the things you will get is 12 months inside the Evergreen Business Queen membership, which in itself is a paid program. So you would actually have 12 months of life support with me, right? So we are always putting new trainings in there. We have monthly networking events. We have community peer support, new training, speakers coming in every month as well. We talk about email marketing, about how to create offers. We look holistically, mindset even. So toolkits I've put here and resources in terms of tech setup. I created a whole checklist as to what are the different tools that you could be using in a business that are time saving and also money saving. And I also provide my members the opportunity to then be guest speakers in my communities or being a summit speaker as well. So again, might have visibility opportunities. And in future, I'm going to also write another book, a 4th book. So I'm also actively looking for co-authors going forward. So again, these are all sort of perks, and I'll help you get visible and also help you be visible on my platforms. And I got a very huge LinkedIn following. At the moment, it's about 16,000, which I'm building up. So again, we can create events there. We can create promo in there as well. And you can get visible on my platforms too. So I'm going to pop in a link below the video, which is literally going to get you to the Evergreen Visibility Bootcamp checkout. You can, again, go through it. It's a really, really low cost, a very affordable bootcamp. And if you are interested, there is also an opportunity to book a clarity mapping call with me, which I'll show you what that is all about. So I'm just going to go to the checkout page, which is here. I'm just going to paste that into the chat so you can have a look. Bootcamp. So when you follow the link, so let's go to the page. You've got all the information here around what's included. 6-week live support, implementation and co-working feedback sessions, the virtual speaker launchpad, the Organic Visibility Accelerator, bonus 12 months inside of my Evergreen Business Queens membership, where you have visibility opportunities, options to apply to become a speaker in my community, in the summits, collaborate on bundles, podcasts, and more. We have monthly networking events where you can share your offers, and then training and co-working and Q&As as well. So we got literally 12 months with me as well. This here is the clarity mapping session. So you can add that as an optional. We would hop on a call together. It's a 2-hour session where I literally look deeply into your business. So it's a 2-hour call. We get together, I'll review everything that you've got so far. So your current offers, your freebies, your marketing, your social media, your copy, your funnels, and I'll give you ideas for improvement. And you walk away with a tailored 90-day implementation plan. So that's an option here as well that you can add. And that would really nicely complement the Visibility Booster Bootcamp, because obviously we want to make sure your offers and everything else that comes behind the visibility is all dialed in, is working, because otherwise you're going to be visible and you do all this work and you put in all the time and the energy, and then whatever comes behind when people click through to the offer, they're not converting and things are not working, right? It's not set up. So you don't want that either. So that's what I've got today for you. I'll follow up with an email with the replay and a couple of resources that unfortunately I couldn't show with you during the session. Like some of the apps that you could be using for the quizzes, and some more ideas around the summit. So yeah, with that said, we're right on time, 90 minutes. I'm very surprised. Usually I way run over. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to see what you've learned, what you're implementing, and hopefully we see each other inside the Visibility Booster Bootcamp. So long. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon. Bye.